Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Starfox! Oh wait, wrong theme. So yeah, Starfox for the Super Nintendo. Man, one of the most iconic games ever released on the system and the very first of the Super FX series. Now I remember back in 1993 when I was in the 6th grade, man, seeing Starfox in magazines, like seeing that commercial that looked like Star Wars, I was like, whoa man, this game looks really awesome. And I distinctly remember back in 1993, I went to a Fedco, and if you know what Fedco is, you're old school, but for those who don't know, Fedco is basically Target nowadays. I saw a whole line of kids trying to play the Starfox competition cart, and I remember waiting in that line, and then I was almost there. I was like 2 people away, and then my dad goes like, "Ryan, we gotta go now." I'm like, "If I want to play Starfox, it's like available on the competition." "No, we gotta go now." But not to worry though, a couple of weeks later in May of 1993, I rented the game from my Ma and Pa game shop, and I can't recall what the exact date in 1993 was, but I always consider that the best Friday of the year because that's when I rented Starfox. Although subsequent years haven't been as great to me. So Starfox is pretty much an on-rails arcade type shoot 'em up where you control Fox McCloud and the Starfox crew trying to battle the evil Andross who's trying to take over Corneria after he's been banished from it for his evil experiments. That damn dirty ape! I think I need to plaster this review with Planet of the Apes jokes. No, I won't. Now, for today's standards, these polygonal Super FX graphics are pretty primitive, but back in 1993, man, like, this shit was like the new hotness. Like, this was out of this world. I was like, oh man, like, no graphics are gonna be better than this. This is like 128-bit right here, man, in the 16-bit era. Yeah, because when you start the game, man, and seeing that sequence of them just flying out of the base, 3 hidden pilots, prepare for launch, I'm like, wow. Like, those graphics were like state-of-the-art back in 1993. And actually, in all honesty, they're still really good today if you look at it from more of a retro point of view. It's pretty amazing what the SNES was able to handle back in the day. So you control Fox McCloud and the Starfox crew as you have to choose between 3 paths in order to get to Andross's base on the planet of Venom. Now, the middle path is the easy path. The top path is the normal path, and the bottom path is the hard path. And I do recommend definitely starting off with the easy path first because, well, obviously it's the easy path, and in my opinion, it's the most fun path. So basically, the gameplay consists of you piloting an R-Wing. You can get like power-ups like a twin blaster, and then you can get Nova bombs. You can use your brake, you can use your boost to avoid enemies, and yeah, all of this polygonal graphics, man, like this was state-of-the-art back in the day. Like, all you youngins are like, man, that looks like so primitive and lame. Like, I made that in my, my geometry project. Sit the down now, man. This was the shit back in the day, man. Like, oh my god. Yeah, back in my day, we used the Super FX chip for these polygonal games, You youngins have it easy with your, vector graphics and dev kits and your Unreal Engine 4. Sorry I get a little defensive about Starfox, because it's a game so close to my heart, and if anyone bashes it like IGN, I'm gonna... Sorry about that. I just needed to calm down because Starfox is one of the greatest games of all time, and if anyone talks shit about it, man, I'm gonna like... Okay. We're getting back to the review now. Okay, I'm sorry for the outburst, but all these young gamers trying to bash Starfox is like... So as Fox McCloud, the leader of the Starfox team, you control a team consisting of Falco Lombardi, your heated rival, Peppy Hare, who used to fly alongside your father, and Slippy Toad, need I say more, Slippy Toad! And occasionally on the battlefield, like your allies will fight scripted enemies which you don't even have to do anything about, or they'll get chased by enemies which you kind of have to do something about. Like you gotta make sure that you rescue your wingmen just in time or else they'll lose some life. And if your wingmen lose their lives, you won't see them in the ending. Press F to pay respects. Oh wait, there's no F button on the SNES. And actually what I love about this game, like what brings out so much of the charm is the speech. Like you get clear speech, like at certain parts, but then you get the gibberish speech. What'd you say about my mother? So depending on which path you take, the bosses range from being moderately challenging to really hard. Like the first path, the bosses aren't too difficult, but when you take the second path, the bosses, especially once you get to Titania, get pretty difficult, and the third path is when the bosses get really difficult. Yeah, like I remember the Great Commander Gunship on Venom, like that motherfucker was hard. And speaking of the levels, like you have a really good variety of levels in this game. You get planet levels on Corneria, Titania, Fortuna. Oh yeah, Fortuna is a very beautiful planet. Macbeth and Venom. And then you get these really awesome space levels like, you know, obviously asteroid belts. You get Sector Y, Sector X. But my personal favorite level in the game is the Space Armada from the first path. Like this is something out of like a Star Wars movie. Like you're taking down like Andross's fleet, you're going inside ships, taking down the cores, and I just love killing these fat shuttles. Like it's just so cool shooting them and seeing them die, man. Like I don't know, it's just so cool just pumping those fat shuttles up with like lasers, man. And also, you might have noticed this thing called the black hole on the map screen. Now, in order to access the black hole on the first asteroid level, you pretty much have to kind of destroy one of the asteroids like right at the last second, then you get warped to the black hole. And from what I heard, Starfox's father, James McCloud, is trapped in that black hole, but you get to see all these crazy ships, and then that you can warp like across the game. And of course there's another hidden level, Out of This World, which is activated by taking the third path and destroying a meteorite, and then you get warped to this crazy ass world filled like, woo, it's like the circus in space. And then the final boss of it is a slot machine. And then after that, you're stuck until you reset the game. This is truly Out of This World. And then once you get to Andross, the final boss, and depending on which path you take, he's gonna say different things. Like on the third path, he definitely talks a lot about your father, which is greatly expanded in Starfox 64. And then the final battle with Andross is a gigantic polygonal mask, and he sucks in like yep, he pukes out a whole bunch of squares at you, but you gotta shoot at his eyes, and then you have to defeat the Andross Rubik's Cube. But hold on the third path, the mask turns into a devil! Which is definitely more difficult to beat than the previous two paths, but definitely a very fun challenge. And so once you beat Andross, you finish the game, like you get a score at the end, but I have never been able to beat this game at 100%. Like the closest I ever got to was on the third path, I got 99%. Like I can never beat this game 100%. For some reason I keep missing that one enemy here and there. I mean, I swear, I shoot everything. And also, depending on how many levels you went through, you get to see like schematics of the bosses that you fought, and I just love that music, man. Like that music is just so awesome, so inspiring. But if you use the black hole to kind of skip the game, you don't get to listen to much of the music. So I recommend, you know, just play the black hole for fun, but beat the game on the normal paths, you know, to see the full complete endings. And because of the three paths, you get to see like different bosses depending on which path you beat. So man, Starfox for the Super Nintendo, man. I cannot say enough good things about this game. Like, this is one of my personal favorite games of all time, even more than Starfox 64. Now, don't get me wrong, Starfox 64 is a fantastic game. A really good retelling of the first game, but I still prefer Starfox 1 because it just had that charm of the Super Effects chip on the Super Nintendo. I mean, all those polygonal graphics just gave it so much of a charm, like you didn't think the SNES was even capable of doing that. And I especially love the gibberish, like blah, 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 blah. It makes you use your imagination more. Like like these big blocks are trying to be buildings, or you think this big blockosaurus thing is a dragon, but you use your imagination to believe that, yeah, this is a dragon, this is a city, this is buildings. Like, what I love about the original Starfox, with its polygonal graphics, it really makes you use your imagination to, just put you into the game. Well, unfortunately, Starfox was never released on any virtual consoles, but you can actually get Starfox on the Super Nintendo Classic Mini. Granted, you can buy one, but don't worry, Nintendo says they are going to make a lot more of these. Alright, so that wraps up this episode of awesome video game memories about Starfox for the Super Nintendo. And if you have any memories about this game, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care. Oh, and yes, I'll say the line, do a barrel roll! Hey guys, Ryan here, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of awesome video game memories, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to click on this notification bell to make sure you know when we release new episodes, because YouTube pretty much sucks at doing that. And if you want to see me and the Battle Geek Plus crew play some games, even this one, you can go onto our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. Make sure to check our schedule for the games that we are playing. This video is sponsored by Elgato Gaming. For the best in video game capture and streaming, you can purchase your own with the affiliate links down below.
Hey, you guys should totally go support us over at patreon.com/BattleGeekPlus.